Well, welcome to the 700 Club. One of the most active tornado seasons in history continues to destroy parts of the country. More than 300 confirmed twisters have touched down since the beginning of the year, killing 68 people.
Forecasters predict it's not over yet. A line of storms is now stretching from the deep south to western New York. Mark Martin reports.
Another deadly massive storm system is plowing through the nation's midsection, the third over the past 2 weeks. So far this year, tornadoes have taken the lives of at least 68 people. That's just 2 less of the average for an entire year. 14 reported tornadoes in just a 36-hour time period, including this one in Iowa.
Look at this tornado go.
And this one in Illinois. The severe weather has 30 million Americans on alert.
Oh, it's heading straight for that house.
Meteorologists say an EF2 twister with wind gusts up to 130 miles per hour touched down in southeastern Missouri Wednesday morning, just before sunrise, killing at least 5 people. The storm damaged dozens of buildings and wiped out at least 12.
And you could hear everything just banging on the house, and you could hear trees popping and everything, so it was very scary.
Keith Lincoln and his wife huddled in their bathtub before the tornado tore apart their home.
Thanking my good Lord, please help us. My wife's praying, save us, save the house, everything like that, and basically he did.
The National Weather Service reports the twister apparently stayed on the ground for 15 minutes, carving a 20-mile path. Governor Mike Parson toured the destruction.
It's going to be weeks upon months to be able to recover. It's a long journey ahead for the people that live here.
In Kentucky, the mayor of Louisville says a tornado took the life of at least 1 person overnight. Reports came in of extensive damage, including this home on the market split in 2 by a toppled tree.
We did not hear that tree fall. Never did.
Meanwhile, in tornado-ravaged Wynne, Arkansas, CBN's Operation Blessing is providing hot meals.
We're at ground zero right now, and everywhere you look around us, you can see the devastation. And this is an impoverished community that we're ministering to here, and we're set up to feed those that are in need. Not only the residents here, we've been feeding the volunteers, we've been feeding the workers, and it's been such a blessing to see that hope is being restored.
This strong system moving east is expected to bring severe weather to parts of the mid-Atlantic and northeast on Thursday. Mark Martin, CBN News.
Well, the disasters just seem to keep coming, and we seem to keep deploying teams to help people in tremendous need. If you want to be a part of the Operation Blessing Disaster Relief Team, all you have to do is call us. 1-800-700-7000. Say, I want to give to Operation Blessing Disaster Relief. You can write to us at CBN Center, Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23463. You can text OBDR to 71777, or you can go to cbn.com. We want to let people know that when disasters strike, we want to strike back with love and compassion and very tangible help in their time of need. Be a part of it. Call us now, 1-800-700-7000. Well, in other news, China is threatening retaliation after House Speaker Kevin McCarthy's meeting with the president of Taiwan. Well, Ephraim Graham has more on that story from our CBN newsroom. Ephraim?
Gordon, it is the first time a House Speaker and a Taiwanese president have met on U.S. soil in more than 40 years. McCarthy is leading a bipartisan congressional delegation to welcome Tsai Ing-wen at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in Simi, California. The speaker pledged bipartisan and unwavering support for the people of Taiwan in the face of China's aggression.
First, we must continue the arms sales to Taiwan and make sure such sales reach Taiwan on a very timely basis.
China's foreign ministry condemned the meeting, promising to take resolute and forceful measures to defend its national sovereignty. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are demanding answers from the White House as new information suggests that Chinese spy balloon was able to collect much more intelligence than the administration first admitted. National security correspondent Caitlin Burke has more.
We know now the balloon's week-long trip across the U.S. allowed it to collect intelligence from sensitive military sites, despite efforts by the Biden administration to block that capability. Media reports citing administration sources also maintain China controlled the balloon as it made multiple passes over some sites, collecting information from the electronic signals transmitted from things like weapon systems and on-base communications.
Good afternoon.
We had the President of the United States saying that he was not concerned about this. There's nothing to worry about. Folks shouldn't be anxious.
The Pentagon insists any information gathered by Beijing was of, quote, limited additive value. But Victoria Coates, a former U.S. Deputy National Security Advisor, says the most valuable intelligence China gained likely came from the initial lack of U.S. response to the balloon.
I would assume they thought that the thing would be shot down over Alaska. And that would teach them one thing. But what they learned was they could fly this thing with impunity across the continental United States.
The balloon contained a self-destruct mechanism that could have been activated remotely by China. It's unclear whether it malfunctioned or wasn't activated. Regardless, Coates believes it communicates how frantic China is for information on the U.S.
I think from their perspective, it shows that they were in this to get as much as they could out of the balloon, that protecting the balloon or destroying its sensitive materials was less important to them than seeing how far they could get and what they could gather.
Republican and Democratic lawmakers alike want the Biden administration to do more to protect Americans.
If you take a look at the path that balloon took, there was nothing accidental about it. They were gathering information. I don't know how much they got at this moment in time, but I'm sure we'll find out as time moves on. But the fact is, it was inappropriate behavior.
Coates sees this as a basic national security issue and hopes Congress can unite around it. She's joining in the calls for the Biden administration to start communicating accurate information to those who gave them the job, the American people. Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Washington.
Russia is threatening military and other measures in response to Finland's joining NATO this week. Vladimir Putin is nervous because it ends Finland's era of military non-alignment and doubles the length of NATO's shared border with Russia. Chuck Holton reports now from Helsinki.
The 31st flag is being raised in front of NATO headquarters in Brussels to celebrate Finland officially becoming the newest member of NATO. As a result, NATO nations now stretch 800 miles along Russia's border, double its previous length. It also means the NATO alliance has more than 60% of the world's combined military power.
This is truly a historic day because very shortly, as the Secretary General said, we will be welcoming Finland into the alliance to its seat at the table. And I'm tempted to say this is maybe the one thing we can thank Mr. Putin for, because he once again here has precipitated something he claims to want to prevent by Russia's aggression, causing many countries to believe that they have to do more to look out for their own defense and to make sure that they could deter possible Russian aggression going forward.
This military museum in Helsinki details the storied history of the Finnish military. They've really been legendary, especially throughout the 20th century, as they've fought off superior numbers, mostly Soviets, with fewer men, fewer guns, and done so very successfully. That's one of the reasons why NATO leaders want the Finns and the Swedish to join their organization, and they failed to get them to do so for many years because they had a policy of military neutrality. However, what NATO leaders failed at for years, Vladimir Putin succeeded at in days.
While Finland's active military is small, it's very well equipped. Finland's artillery capacity exceeds Poland, Germany, Norway, and Sweden combined. Its forces have also been training alongside U.S. troops for years.
Well, as the situation in Europe has changed quite much over the last year, I think it gives Finland a new opportunity for better safety in the future. So we have been, for a long time, we've been relying on our independence and neutrality, and now we just realize that that's not the path of the future.
It's better than nothing, you know. If we are alone, it's no chance in this situation.
As the world waits to see how Putin responds to this new move, part of the Kremlin's consideration could focus on Finland's reserve corps of more than 900,000 citizen soldiers standing ready to deter any further Russian aggression. Chuck Holton, CBN News, Helsinki.
Turning now to the Middle East, where several rockets were fired at Israel today from southern Lebanon. Israel's military said its Iron Dome defense system intercepted at least one of them. This comes just hours after Lebanon's terror group Hezbollah, which is backed by Iran, said it would support all measures Palestinian groups may take against Israel. Palestinian militants also launched rockets at southern Israel from Gaza. The Israeli military says the rockets exploded in midair. This all comes after another tense night on the Temple Mount, where Palestinians threw rocks and stones at Israeli police trying to clear the area. Since the Islamic holy month of Ramadan began, Muslim worshippers have repeatedly tried to stay overnight at the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which goes against long-standing agreements about managing the area. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden is marking Passover by calling on Americans to confront anti-Semitism. In an op-ed published on CNN, the president writes, "Let us join hands across faiths, races, and backgrounds to make clear that evil will not win, hate will not prevail, and anti-Semitism will not be the story of our time. Evil indeed will not win." Gordon?
Well, we should applaud the president on this and let us all take a stand against anti-Semitism. As we head into Passover, as we head into Easter, let us understand that we are all together in this. There should never be another Holocaust. There should never be an attempt to wipe Israel off the map. The Jewish people have a right of self-determination. They have a right to their land, and they have a right to defend it. What is happening right now out of the Palestinian Authority is the worst anti-Semitism possible, where you're trying to drive Israel into the sea. You will never accept a two-state solution. You only want one state, and that's a Palestinian state, and Jews are not allowed. Let us stand against this and stand firm.